is 7:30.
Let's see. I don't know if it's live or not. I hit go live, but who knows? Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah, it looks like we've been live for about 30 seconds now. Let's see what shakes loose. If everybody can hear me. Or anybody, meaning nobody.
I can hear you on the...
Does it sound okay?
Yes.
I can barely hear you in my headphones.
Sorry, I was looking away from the microphone. I was looking at my phone.
As soon as my camera gets rid of all the stupid icons it doesn't need, we'll start rolling.
Cool.
Footage. Is anyone in the chat room?
Not yet.
Oh, well, this camera has autofocus issues. So, well, whatever. If anybody's going to show up, let's go ahead and fade in. Ta-da, there's me. Don't have a guest tonight, everybody, if you're watching this later and are wondering what's up. So we're just going to be playing a game. Driving game. Maybe people will show up. We'll start telling stories.
Story time. I don't get why it doesn't save your selections.
Don't know, but let's kick it. Here we go.
Kick it.
Got my DeLorean. My best score is 49,997.
Jesus.
Yeah, before you got home from work, from when I got home to when you got home, I was playing this game, one game.
Wow.
So, where do we go? Do we go to space? Basically, do you want something annoying for me to play, but visually interesting for the viewer, or something easy to play, but maybe less so for the viewer?
Let's do the latter.
So we'll do Skyway. That's a pretty decent one.
Yeah, I mean, that's visually appealing.
It's a little on the blah side, but... Alright, got my lights on. Horn is working.
When you beep the horn, do they actually move out of the way?
No.
So what's the point?
I don't know. I think it's just to have an extra light.
Something to buy. Oh.
Hold up. I want to turn down... Oh, geez.
Yeah, nothing saves.
Like, I don't mind a little. We'll say save. We'll go back. We'll resume. Yeah, it still sounds 100%.
Yeah, I bet if you go back to options, it'll be...
All right, this is going to be a rough one. So as soon as I hit resume, I got to turn.
I like how they have the sunset. I like that. Or sunrise, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know which direction we are moving.
I'm guessing sunset.
Probably, because, well, typically, during a sunrise, you will have what is called a blue hour. And at sunset, you will have what is called a golden hour. That's a photography term, but I'm sure other people use it as well.
Probably.
But that's what you get. In the morning, you get blue, your blue hour. Evening, you get your golden hour. So I believe we are in some sort of Asian-inspired highway.
Yes.
You know, has anybody showed up for our road trip yet?
No, not yet. At least not that. It's very slow. Like, whenever there's somebody in the room, it'll only, like, it won't update
Whoa.
people for like ever. So
Man, I can't take my eyes off the road because that would be irresponsible as a driver.
yes, it would.
I wish, like, I love the aesthetic of this DeLorean. I'll pop out for a minute and show everybody what we're looking at here. But it's slow. It's the slowest car, and I've got no turbo equipped, so...
Can
But
you
I mean-
buy it for this car?
Yeah, I just haven't yet, because since it's like... the stock car...
Yeah.
Oops. Let's see. I was... crap. I was hoping to go as long as I could, but... yeah, well... Yeah, $5,000 for turbo.
Wow.
I could pop into this one. It's easier to drive, but less visually appealing. That one's okay. I just bought and am upset about this one.
Why?
I don't... Since it's a Lambo, I expect it maybe to handle better or something. The view isn't great. Let's take it for a test drive and I'll show you. It's...
Do the snow one. Or
The
that one.
Space
Yeah.
Beach?
Yeah, yeah.
Space Chief! So, as you can see from the cockpit, we are a little low,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
I would
weird.
prefer less dashboard and more...
Windshield?
Yeah, I feel like I'm laying down
Yeah.
in this.
Well, there's another car where you feel like you're in the back seat.
Yeah, the Mustang.
Yeah.
I've kind of gotten used to that one, though. And this one just leaves me wanting more field of view. Like, it's nice and fast. But the view leaves me less inclined to play.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like I want to... I don't know. I'm eventually going to buy all of them, obviously.
Right. Well, that, I mean, you have to.
But as of right now, I think this is at least aesthetically second as far as the...
Oh, the dashboard's nice.
Yeah, like it's not... Once you get used to just sort of the feel of like, yeah, it's an old muscle car, it's going to be different, I gotta get it.
Did you customize the dashboard, or did it come like that?
You can't customize anything. I just...
Oh.
The only thing I changed was the outside color. Handling's a little sloppy, but yeah, that's old American muscle for you. Do 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 do. And the traffic here in LA.
Crazy drivers.
Whoa. So I had an entire thing worked up, hoping somebody would show up to hear it. And I don't know if anybody is going to, so maybe I'll save it for a real show.
Oh, well, now I'm curious.
It's not super interesting, however, it's just enough for me. And it has to do with Bobby Flay
Oh, boy.
and Hidden Valley Ranch.
Two totally random things.
Not so random if you think about it. Oh gosh!
Whoa. How did you not...
No, that's American muscle, baby. Ramped off that biatch. I also just think it was probably a glitch because I should have died.
Yeah.
But whatever. I've only gone 6 miles. So I'm going to call it a win.
Ugh.
Kind of like... This view I like because I like appreciating the outside of the car. You get the fine lines, but something scratches that itch when you get inside of it. And you see the windshield and the dash and all the...
Yeah.
Something just gets me from right here. So I'm driving with the knee, or maybe my hand is just out of frame.
Yeah. You're
I drive 2 hands, but both of them at the bottom of the wheel.
Yeah, like at 5 and 7.
And I only, maybe.
Or you just got one hand on 6.
Yeah, my other hand is clutching my Coors.
Yep.
Because it's the cool thing to do. And you're driving past Apple. Oh no, I guess those are windows. Those look the logos. Those look like Arizona iced tea cans.
Yeah, those green ones did.
Nothing can stop me. Not even windows in a can. Do 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 do. What a float in this baby. Look out, sir! Oh! All right. Oops. I wanted to do. Boink. That one's too zany to use. That one's too fast. We got to keep with what we know. Tried and true. I can't afford anything for it yet. I like those rims. No, whatever. Not to complain, but more options, please.
Well, how much did you pay for this game?
$1.50.
Well,
still, a little more options. Turn on our hazards because we got to be careful. Do we have our lights on? We do have our lights on. So, when you're driving other planets, make sure you get your headlights on because it gets dark at random hours.
All the people that I worked with today were planning to go hiking on the 3rd at the wind cave, and apparently it's a thing that when you get to the wind cave you have to take a shot. So they're all trying to figure out today what to bring to drink.
Why? I'm not a fan of this track. Why are there? Whatever. I don't care. Like, hillbillies will go wherever and be like, "Yeah, we're gonna do something and drink." You don't need a reason to drink. Trust me. Believe you me.
I mean,
I've worked with enough hillbillies.
Well, and I saw enough people that came in today drunk at 8 in the morning. This one lady, she couldn't remember anything since Tuesday. That happened from Tuesday to today.
But that's status quo. Like I used to work with dudes who'd roll in 4 a.m. drunk, and like even when I used to stop at the gas station to get stuff in the morning, dudes would be picking up tall boys. Yeah. It's like 6.
Well, her
had to escape life somehow.
Blood alcohol was 0.32.
Come on, man.
And I'm like, Jesus, she's probably just never sober.
Well,
0.32. That's insane.
Yeah, but at that, I'm guaranteeing you, she did have a track record with booze, and so it would, I'm sure, by necessity, take a lot to get.
I don't know. I mean,
to get her soused. Because if my blood alcohol were at 0.32, I would be dead. Yeah, like.
But
my body could not handle it.
She was 80, 90 pounds soaking wet.
That doesn't matter. Like, she's been pickling herself for however zillions of years.
It was crazy. It was.
But that's part of it.
Crazy.
Like, booze is one of those things where you can build up a tolerance, but that just means you. I don't know.
Well, and there's people. So like, I have a high tolerance, but I didn't build it up. I always had a high tolerance from when I first started drinking. Now it's gotten less.
Yeah,
it's gone down, probably with metabolism, I'm guessing, maybe, or however.
Or who knows? I don't know. Blood alcohol level in people's body chemistry is a mystery to everyone but some sort of scientist.
Yeah. And when that one guy that was on meth came, he called somebody to pick him up, and he was like, "Go get us a 20-pack."
Yeah, man. This one guy I used to work with, one of the least offensive dudes on a job site. He was just a sad old drunk.
Yeah.
His name was Dale, and he had like 4 teeth, something like that. And he wasn't very good at his job, so he just sort of fell into being the parts boy. Like, he would just run parts, and everyone just sort of let him do it because he sucked at everything else. I started out as his apprentice, or helper, whatever you want to call it. And then
Became his boss.
yeah, eventually became his his superior.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, every day, because everybody for whatever reason lived in the same area, and nobody owned a car except 1 or 2 of them, so they would all get rides from one another.
Yeah.
But the dude would be like, yep, every day I get home, I walk down to the store, pick up a 24 pack, and I drink it all in one night. And I said, you do that every night, Dale? He's like, every night, 24 beers. I'm like, holy shit. And he smelled like it too. Yeah, he sweat.
Oh my god, I'm sure he sweat beer.
Yeah, every time. And obviously, because we're always out working in the heat, it was just like this constant brewery stench. And it wasn't even like BO. I wouldn't even say it was unpleasant. He just smelled like a beer all the time. And like, because there were dudes you'd avoid. Like, there was one dude I avoided like the plague because he smelled like a corpse that had fallen into a tar pit and someone pissed on. But Dale, he was always fine by me because he just smelled like beer.
Yeah. Well, and was it like, you know how there's like people that smoke and they just smell like stale cigarettes? Did it smell like stale beer?
No, that's the thing. It just, well, maybe it did smell stale. It smelled hot because by virtue of where we worked. But if it wasn't hot, and like if we were in a cool room and you were just giving off that odor, I would just say there's a beer somewhere nearby.
Yeah, like an open beer can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, but he did this thing where like he worked himself out of a job and into something like he's somewhat ingeniously went from being an electrician to the parts boy without taking a pay cut. But then he got too big for his britches, started complaining about, he's like, it's not my job to blah 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
Someone finally realized, yeah, it's not your job to do that, so they fired him.
Yeah, you gotta be quiet about that kind of shit. Like, if you're shirking your duties and you get taken down,
yeah,
no
all you
pay,
do is shut the fuck up, drive the truck back and forth to the Connex, and pick up boxes of parts. That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it. Talked himself right out of it.
RJ says, I think you might be breaking the speed limit.
Oh, totally, RJ. But good thing in Vaporwave land, there is no posted speed limit.
True. I like this scene with
Plus,
the palm trees.
I get extra points for keeping it above 100 kilometers per hour for an extended period of time. So I need that speed, RJ.
He has a need.
And that need is for more speed.
And cowbell.
Dude. And Vaporwave. I feel like PJ should be here to witness all this Vaporwave, because Lo-Fi and Vaporwave, I feel like, are kissing cousins.
Maybe I'll message him.
PJ is quickly becoming like the P in FFOP.
Yes.
FFOPJ1. Juju, we're a robot now. These people are nuts, but at least they're using their signals. And not a single snowbird on the road. We're all just headed toward that sunset. The only thing I would also change about this game, and again, for $1.50, I can't complain much.
Yeah.
Just a slight curve in the road, left or right every once in a while, just to break it up.
Right.
Let's not go nuts, but like maybe veer to the right, veer to the left, go up and down a little incline, something.
Like a little hill. RJ says, if your speed exceeds 100 miles per hour for more than 4 hours, please consult a doctor.
Well, RJ, you know what we're in, right? We're going back to the future, but this thing, I think, is more like the legitimate DeLorean in that it is very slow. God damn it. And doing that, I fucked up. So, back at it. Push it to the limit.
I tried this game yesterday. Didn't do well.
Well, it was on like a lag because of
Yeah.
being on the Steam machine. I also like but there's the thing too. Like there's so many. I can't fit this car through.
Through 2 cars.
Through 2 cars. I need to go with my speed runner. Is this thing maxed out? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's put the blue. Oh, so I have to unlock each hubcap for each car? Ain't that a bag of dicks? Whatever.
I get you.
All right. Should we go? I'll ask RJ. Should we go zany? You want to go regular vaporwave? Did he leave?
He says, BRB, gotta feed the cat and shower
Jesus
quick.
H. Christ.
Just got home from work. So
Okay.
you better be back. I'm holding you to that, RJ.
So we'll do space trip then. Simply because why not?
Yeah.
I wish you could. Another thing I don't like about this car specifically is the dashboard never lights up. But it is a broken car, so.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if the dashboard lit up, well, maybe not. I was thinking it would take away from the lights up there, but all the other cars light up.
Yeah, that's the thing about this car. It's just like a crappy beat-up rally. That's why the windshield is dirty and annoying, but like it handles perfectly. But it's ugly as shit. I want aesthetics here, people. Vaporwave aesthetic. Like, what is aesthetics without, or what is vaporwave without the look? See, it looks crappy.
Yeah, like the spoiler is gross.
Spoiler and all the rust, and it's just. But it's like I can go 1,000,000 miles in this car because it's so. Maybe if I keep upgrading the DeLorean, it'll eventually be half as well. It's still going to be wide too. That's the problem too. All these cars are so wide, and with this, then I can literally squeeze all through these guys. Dude. Like, see, shoo, right? I can't do that in the DeLorean.
Yeah.
I'm untouchable in this car. Untouchable. 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 Untouchable.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Can't stop me. Won't stop me. It's like a car the width of a motorcycle, so you can't help but win all the time. And even in this like super hard to see level, it's like, ooh, whoa, not hard at all. Nice signal, buddy. Call him a cop. Vapor cop.
Vapor cop.
I'm Vapor. This is my partner, Wave. We're the aesthetic police. Push it. Oh, God!
Whoa. That guy was gonna run right into the other car.
They already had run into each other. Okay, so now I can upgrade this. So it can't go any faster, which is kind of a bummer. But I can turn... No, I can't. I can't afford those anymore. However, those are also annoying, so I don't want them. Okay. Let's go nutty.
Nutty.
Boop. This track is almost like a nice nighttime snooze. It's so easy. I feel like I'm sure all the roads are the same width, but this one feels 10 miles wide
Yeah,
compared
because
to.
there's no curbs. Like, there's no curb outline.
Yeah, not only that, but I think all the little green make it. The green segments. The only thing it does do though is it makes me worried I'm about to get T-boned because all the. I feel like every light is an intersection, and that eventually someone is like, there's just going to be a vaporwave truck that smashes my ass, T-bones me. Neon and glass everywhere. DeLorean bits. John DeLorean spitting in his grave.
It streams pretty well. I don't see any like lag or like drop frames.
Yeah. Well, it's not super labor intensive. And
Yeah.
I think last time we were really taxing the network. Zoom. Let's see. Let's check in with our stats. 4 miles. 4 kilometers? I don't know. I imagine kilometers.
Probably because your speed is in kilometers, right?
Yeah, but kilometers aren't as long, so it's annoying. What miles? Good old American miles, but maybe Vaporwave is too European for that. Like they can't. Maybe that's one thing also I would change is have the AI smart enough not to like smash into each other.
Yeah, I think that's weird.
Like I get, it's probably just a happy accident to be like, oh, it's a trap. They'll run into each other and they'll catch you in them. But fuck you, that's a cheap shot. Traffic in real life would not do that. And if it did, I could stop and be like, hey, assholes, pull your heads out of your asses.
Right.
Honk a little.
Some of these cars in some of the levels like this, I feel like they're coming toward you, even though I know they're not.
Well, technically they are. You know.
I mean, like they're driving.
Oh, like intentionally in my way?
They're like as if you were driving on a two-way highway.
Oh.
Like every once in a while, some of the cars look like their headlights are pointing at you, but they're not.
Yeah.
Like I think it's the vans that do it.
Yeah. Without lane lines, it's a lot less distracting too. Because if you're just
Yeah.
on a green expanse, you're not like, oh, am I in the lane?
Yeah.
Don't matter. You're just space trucking. Space DeLoreaning. Through the future to the past. Zoo. Maybe if RJ comes back, we can invite him onto the show as a guest.
Yeah.
Unless he's in a kitchen like PJ. Oh my gosh. I could not believe if anyone listening to this later will get this reference, but when I released this week's episode while editing it, like the first 20 minutes is just a solid like dishes and a microwave.
Yeah. I remember hearing the microwave.
Dishes clanking, and I guess it's my fault for not saying like, hey, guess what? I'll do you the solid of waiting until everyone in the house is eating dinner, since you live in one room and I don't need microwave noise. But good Foley work. If we ever need to shoot something or record something in like a diner or a kitchen,
We know where to go.
PJ's apartment. Say, oh, I got orders here. Like if I ever want to do an SVU style where I got to interview a busboy or a chef,
Oh yeah.
it'll be PJ.
He's got the accent too.
Hey, I'm walking here. I got deliveries.
Hey yo.
Are you a bus? Checking on the stats. We are a 17-kilometer trip. 100 points.
That's nice that you can hide it instead of hearing the whoosh whoosh whoosh.
Yeah, it gets super annoying. Because if it were just this, it wouldn't be so bad. But then you hear...
Yeah.
But you get to see all those sweet-ass points. 266 there.
All those combos.
Combo. Sideswipe combo. Combo. Give me some points, you buttholes. That's what I thought. Anyway. Back to driving safe. Do. Safe driving. Changing lanes. You can activate the signals on these things, but it's like, why bother?
Right, it's not like you're...
And like inside the car, you can't even see it.
Yeah.
All right, if I can get to a spot. There we go. Let's see if it works. Yep, there it is. There's the other one. You. Maybe I'll do, just to be more authentic. Staying straight, just so you know. Woo! Just keep them on lock. I'd also wouldn't mind like being able to pull a handbrake and do a sweet like skid every once in a while. You can kind of do that, like, but not as good.
Yeah, and if you stop, will the people behind you hit you?
I don't think so. They probably cease to exist, because look in the rear view mirror and you can see that
Oh, yeah.
it's just a black void back there. I think as soon as they're out of sight, they're out of existence.
Weird.
Has anyone else showed up besides RJ?
It says there's 3 people in the room.
Alright, well, maybe then I'll tell a story if there's 3 people. Or something.
It says.
I'm sure we're on in the background. You get to the point in a level where you're like, you're so far, but I feel like I want to change up because this is one of the easiest to play but least visually interesting. But I get so many points and money. Just have to make it interesting by intentionally driving reckless.
That's what you do the whole time.
For the points. Okay. So we'll keep, do we want to keep the DeLorean? Yeah, or save up. What else do I have at my disposal? So we've got this weird like Tesla looking thing. Ooh, a VHS something or other for 25 grand. We got a F50, looks like a Ferrari F50 Police Edition. We have the
weird
Cybertruck, Tesla's Cybertruck for 20 grand.
Oh.
Got a Porsche, another Lambo. Looks like an Audi. Got the Lambo I got already. All right, I gotta work on being fast or good with fast cars. All the cars I like are slow, so I gotta get used to being fast and low to the ground. Oh yeah, but this thing still sucks at handling.
You can't do anything to make it better?
I can buy upgrades, but I forgot to. Because I wanted to live dangerously. Now I'm going to. Because I've got money! So we'll get the best handling in the world, and we'll make the engine even scarier.
Whoa.
I get copyright claimed. I'm sure I'm already going to get copyright claimed, but that one was way too obvious. Alright, that's way better. Doesn't feel totally sloppy and loose. Like spaghetti.
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah, this is a fine Italian sports car. You're not supposed to be slaloming all over the road. Like, for a car that's $200 million, it should mostly drive itself. Kabam. But it is way too fast for me to be competent with right now. Well, this baby. You're gonna say some serious shit. Christopher Lloyd, where are you? Somewhere in California.
Oh. Well.
Uh-oh. That van came literally out of nowhere. That was a
Whoa.
dick move.
That was a dick move.
I'm not getting any better at being fast.
This wine is super dry.
I wonder that stuff in the middle looks like piano keys, and I wish I could move like the player character camera head to see more of what's inside this car.
It does definitely look like piano keys.
But hey, maybe in the 80s Ferraris or Lamborghinis rather had pianos in them. Small organs.
Only like 8 notes. 8 keys.
Maybe instead of a regular automobile key, you had to play a musical composition in a certain musical key. I fucking don't even want to finish that sentence, but I did it.
You did it. Proud of you.
Oh my gosh.
He just leaves like a tape on the dashboard. Or a cassette.
It's the 80s, man. Lucky it's not an 8-track. Since this is a Lambo, I could afford the cassette deck instead of that cheap-ass scratchy audio. One day I'll put a CD player in it. Oh God! No, I can't do this with fast cars. I shudder to think it would all of like this might not be. No, that is super fast. What do we have that like isn't fast, but still is enjoyable? Oh, the IROC. Huh. I don't have enough money for that though, so we'll go back to my original love. Cyber City in the rain. Driving at night and driving in the rain, two of my favorites.
I don't like either. I don't like them together.
I love them together. I love them separately. I'll take either, any combination.
The glare when I drive at night is already bad enough for me. I don't need added wetness.
Well, I'm not worried because I have two functioning eyeballs.
Yeah.
So, the nighttime, I'm like the Batman of night. Take to the streets in a black car. I drive around. I witness crime. Sometimes I wear body armor. Completely different reason, though. Cha-ching. Whatever. Every time I want to complain, I remember it's just $1.50. $1.50. But I'll tell you this. Friggin'. Excuse me, buttholes. Mini Metro. Also, like, so during the Steam sale, I think I picked up a bundle of like 4 games. Mini Metro, Polybridge, Simple Planes, and the game I actually wanted to buy, but got the other 3 for free, and I can't remember. Moral of the story is, Mini Metro, like, it's so simple. It, like, Elliot could probably play it, but it's fun.
What is it?
It's, I would like to say it's like a train simulator, but that's way too grandiose. You have shapes that appear on a map, and you draw lines between the shapes, and boxes that represent trains move between the shapes, and at the shapes, other shapes wait. So the stations are represented by white shapes, the passengers are black shapes. So the white shape station they are at, they want to get to the station they are. So if there's a circle white station and there is a black triangle at it, the train has to pick them up and take them to the right shape, essentially. It's a color matching and shape game. And I might play it later just to show you, because it's technically kind of a road trip, but we'll see how it goes. But, and it's also like very, almost prohibitively simple. Like, it's got user generated content or whatever, and there are, I can't believe it has a sandbox mode, because I honestly have no reason to play it unless the game is telling me I need to get passengers from A to B. Because you can play it in an endless mode or a sandbox mode or whatever you want to call it. There's two different modes where there's like literally no restrictions on money or time or whatever. Also, there's no real reason to play because
there's no stakes.
Yeah, because you don't. Nothing happens. Like the game in itself is perfect because it slowly adds stations that you need to supply routes to. And without that simple driving force, you're like, because then you can put stations wherever you want, you can put as many routes as you want, you can put as many cars as you want. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is, it's already so simple and thin. Like, you could slide it under a door. And then you want to take away, like, what
the structure?
The last dimension it had. So now it's like, it's not even a piece of paper. It's just a one-dimensional dot. And here I am, like, I don't get what I'm doing. And still, I'm...
Yeah.
I mean, I tried it, and I put a bunch of things around, and the game was like, cool, nice work. And I was like, well, then... So did I win? What are the stakes? Like, all I was doing was placing shapes for squares to move between, and without someone being like, hey, here's the order in which you have to do it, you realize how juvenile it is.
Well, I guess so. Well, that's, I mean, a lot of sandbox games are kind of like that, like when you can be in sandbox mode, because then you just don't know what to do. Like,
but a sandbox, I consider a sandbox a different thing. Because a sandbox, there's still toys in it. You can still build things. Like, even if you use your imagination, you know, in an actual, like, literal sandbox. But, like, in a video game sandbox, you're limited to the toys they give you. And if the toys they give you are a bunch of colorful shapes, and the only thing tying them together is their insistence you move them from one place to another.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just funny that I was like, oh, that's the thing about it, though. It's so enthralling and enamoring. And then you just remove one that doesn't even seem like a pivotal element. It's just like, oh, now you get to play and do whatever you want. But whatever you want has no repercussion. You're like,
yeah.
Without the without the game saying, hey, do this, you could just be drawing lines on a piece of paper with crayons in different colors and be like, that's the railroad. And that's it. You did it. You just played the game. But that's the thing. That's what games are. They don't have to be overcomplicated.
That's true. Like that garden game. I mean, yeah, there's structure and what needs to be done on each level.
Yeah, and I think that's... I passed through a car. That was weird. That's why I was a little dubious about the garden game. Because, all games that bill themselves as, like, consequence-free or relaxing, like, you still need something, you need a mechanic or something to hook you. And when that game started having like a structure and like levels and stuff, I was like, okay, good. Because you know, you need.
It was just kind of like the beginning stages and stuff were fine because it basically told you what you needed to do, and then you did it. The light clicked or flashed, and you went to the next level. But then they started happening, and you didn't know what you needed. Like I didn't know what I needed to do to get.
And that's all you need though. Is like that's all you need to make a game is just like a bunch of toys and imagination and. Maybe, you know, obviously more than just imagination, but like, you know, when you play a game, you say, oh, what are the rules?
Yeah.
Because you need those. You need rules. That's what makes a game.
Yeah.
Minecraft, it's like a toy box.
Right.
But even there, like, there's still a point because you can build
Well,
anything.
you can still die. You can, like...
Yeah, but... even beyond like the basic like concepts of video game, like live, die, win, lose, I think if you give someone or anyone a toolbox like Minecraft, it's like a Minecraft. I don't know. Maybe I'm not even gonna call it a game. Minecraft is like a hardware store. It's like everyone and anyone can show up and collect a bunch of raw materials and. If I'm going to do this, we're going to do it right. But, you know, people like building shit.
Yeah.
And like this game, the principle is so simple. It's just get around cars. But here's the thing, Krista saw me do this. I found out that there are multiple levels of challenge to this game. There's easy, peaceful, like nothing, hard, you know, whatever. And I find that the less cars I have, the more boring and the less I want to play, but the more cars I have, the more annoying and the less I want to play.
Right, but I mean, I
Walks a
feel like
fine line.
moderate.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You have to have an adequate challenge for the player too. I think that's what also is overlooked sometimes because people want to talk about. Maybe that's part of it too. Is everybody's like, oh well, this is a hard game and I beat it. Like, it doesn't have to be hard. Like, it's just to be fun. It's a game. Like, this isn't a very hard game.
Well, people also like a hard challenge that they feel is fun.
Yeah, that's why Dark Souls exists.
I've never played it.
I haven't either. I just know it by reputation. And, well, no, I take that back. I lied. I played the first one as long as my body would allow it. But since I hated it a lot, it wasn't very long. Because it is incredibly punishing. And if your thing is like spitting in the face of opposition and fighting a challenge, then it's your perfect game. When I first tried it, I was exact opposite of that mindset and said fuck it, and was very angry.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would, like, I have grown to like challenging games now. However, to a limit, I know exactly where my breaking point is. And I know by looking at a game where it's going to fall in that scale.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't know. You gotta try. That's what life is. Trying weird new things. See, if the DeLorean were this fucking beautiful to deal with, I'd be in hog heaven. But it's not. So I'm stuck with this broken ass rally car with a dirty ass windshield. make ends meet. I wouldn't mind, like, getting to drive one of those VW buses either. That'd be fun.
Yeah, at
Wouldn't be
first when it
fast.
was that Porsche, I thought it was a Volkswagen.
Oh, so the pink is what you can upgrade, I think. Okay. That makes sense.
Oh.
I was like, what does the pink mean?
Oh,
Okay.
it can go up to that amount.
Yeah. So to get into this baby, we need to save up a little bit more. We'll try this crazy one, because why not? Easy, peaceful, hard. Let's see how annoying peaceful is, because I'm sure it's going to have, like...
No cars.
There might be cars, but they're not going to change lanes, I bet. Nope, no cars. Shit. So you can literally... It's just like that Desert Bus game on the Genesis.
Oh my god, so it's just... But that actually has an end.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is just to maybe farm points.
Are you getting points for this? Huh.
Yeah. Do. Maybe it's just to do stuff like this. Just to get some good killer footage.
Well, and it could be to get used to the car.
Maybe.
But that's like every level you can do it this way.
Yeah. Like if I were shooting a lo-fi music video, I would definitely use this footage.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. Like that. Oh, maybe not that so much, but a clean one. Let's do that again. If you're recording this for a music video, give me 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Oh, almost.
Oh.
Nope. Hold on, guys. We'll do it again. Hold on. Okay. Get some nice clean footage and... Perfect.
Nice.
You are welcome. However, now...
RJ says, watch out for that. Nothing.
Yeah, like no bugs on the windshield, no nothing.
But then, like, how do you, aside from going to the menu and clicking main menu, like, how do you...
Well, okay, so this is my desert bus, what you call it, analogy was not in vain. So in that game, the wheel slowly veers to the right. So you can't cheat. And I think you can see what is happening here.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we'll just stay on this side of the road.
See how long it
And
takes.
see how long it takes to get over. Seems like a long
Already
time.
starting.
Yeah, well, I mean, we started way before. Yep, we are definitely gaining ground and fast. So now here's some... Oh, maybe I'll do that again. Okay, here we go. For you, those of you making music videos, here we go. Slowly across a 4-lane highway. You'll have minutes of footage, and I'll have dozens of points.
Dozens.
Yeah, see, I'm just pushing the forward key, and it's working. Should I turn on the lights? Yeah, there we go. This has no turbo, so I can't do that.
Oh, you didn't see how long it took to get across the lanes.
We're gonna... And that... Do I get... since I can't hit anybody, do I get to keep my points?
I don't know.
I bet not.
No. Well, you
Dick.
don't have the same amount. You have the same amount of money. Well, you should have just crashed into the wall a bunch of times.
You can't crash into the wall. You just bounce off of it.
Oh. Well, it must then just be for...
Oh, crap. Did I leave it on peaceful? Okay,
No.
good. Get out of here, mouse. Okay, wait. RJ's back, I'm hearing.
Well, yeah, he commented.
RJ, if you're still there, you can be a guest on the show. Just send $10.95 and a self-addressed stamped envelope to P.O. Box. Bonus Vista, California 90078. I feel like I should know the Funny Home Videos mail address because I heard it 14,000 times a week. You don't expect to get your tape back.
Yeah, like they don't send it back, right?
No. That's why you just have to send them a copy. What a crazy way. Like, maybe Elliot's never going to understand this, but you know, back in the day before the internet, if you wanted someone to see a funny video, you had to make a physical copy and send it to Bob Saget.
Right.
So that he would show the nation and the world your zany, your farting cousin, or your belly button that sings, or your Indiana Jones diaper parody, or whatever.
RJ says, damn, I'm out of stamps.
I bet he didn't even have a microphone set up. RJ. Still living out of a cardboard box in the back of a hotel under a leaky pipe near a colony of possums.
Don't forget about the water heater.
And there's also a water heater. Because if there's one thing you can't live without, it's hot water. We're not animals. Here's a trivia question. Speaking of America's funniest home videos. He must have, Bob Saget said the name of the producer probably in every episode. Do you and or RJ, can you answer this question? Who was the producer? And probably still is, because he was there through John Fugelsang and the other Daisy Fuentes, and now the new guy, Bergeron.
Tom Bergeron.
Tom Bergeron. So, who is the producer of America's funniest home videos?
Cook.
Is it Cook?
No, I don't know.
Maybe RJ knows. He said it all the time. Classic Italian name. You know, speaking of also funny home videos, while we're waiting for an answer to that question, you know, for the TV audience, you always saw somebody hand Bob Saget the results and a microphone at the end of the show so he could tell the audience who won, and they can run out and interview the people, and they can give, you know, their brain dead, like, oh, he just did a funny thing and we caught it on video. And there was always a gag. It was always Bob Saget being like, oh, like, you know, there's a piece of food in your teeth and it's an entire chicken leg, or like you're wearing a clown outfit, or there was always some, like, it was always like a naked gun, like Police Squad style, like off-camera visual gag that he was going for. And I always wondered, did the people in the not home audience, but in the studio audience, who can see it's obviously just a PA wearing a sweater or whatever, you know, wearing a headset, some poor bastard who's like, you know, I'm Bob Saget's monkey boy who runs out the cards. I wonder if, because obviously America's Funniest Home Videos did not cater to a highbrow or very intelligent crowd since it caught me. I wonder if anyone in the audience was like, but he's not doing or wearing none of that. Like, how many hillbillies were in the audience scratching their head? Because obviously they were like confused. I bet there's tons of B-roll of people in the audience with mullets and old grannies with bingo wings being like, I don't get it. He's not in a Bat Boy costume. I don't think he actually did marry Bigfoot or whatever. What the?
Whoa. RJ says
Brian. Brian?
Is the producer's name?
No, it's Vin DeBona.
I was going to say Vinny.
Vin DeBona. Vinny to his friends. I mean, I imagine. Wait a minute. I bought the turbo for this, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
Meow.
Look out, bitch, I'm on turbo! But I only get a little bit every time I piss somebody off on the road.
He says I was close.
Yeah, Vin DeBona, Brian.
Brian.
Brian DeBona. Ching. There we go. Maximum thrust. Whew. That's what I'm gonna call my space-themed porn restaurant.
Porn restaurant?
Yeah. Ah! Oh, I should look and see if I have enough money to buy that car.
You do.
Yeah, let's do it. Ching. Got a little money for some upgrades. I bet it handles like shit, so we'll upgrade that. Let's go to a bowling alley. All right. Pretty hideous looking, but that's a Chevy. Handle's not terrible. Kind of like the Mustang, but shittier. That's to be expected. Alright. We'll call this I Rock an I Rockin' Success. Success. Jesus Christ. We'll call it a Skexy. The Pit of Despair. We never got confirmation. I just sort of trailed off. Does RJ want to come and be a road trip buddy?
RJ.
He's probably not interested because it's super late.
It's 10:30 there. Yeah.
What time is it here?
Take a guess.
It's 9:30. Jesus! All the
No.
thinking about time made me
8:30.
crash.
It's only 8:30 here. It's 2-hour difference in
Well,
the East Coast.
East Coast is the East Coast, so I hear.
Best pies in space, RJ says.
Mamma mia. Welcome to Space Pizza.
I will have to skip this round, he says.
That's I figured. God only knows what people are up to these days.
They should be doing nothing.
Yeah, they should. They should be at home setting up microphones and, you know, that, but they're out fucking going bowling or eating pizza or
Spreading the vid.
spreading the vid. The Rona. La Llorona. Can't believe that the producers of Scary Movie and Epic Movie and Date Movie and Diarrhea Movie haven't had a Rona movie.
Yet.
This is called La Corona, but the movie theaters are shut, so they can't. That's why.
Oh, that's true.
And maybe their purse strings finally dried up, like I keep hoping Adam Sandler's will. But at this point, he's so rich. Even if he were to never make a single movie again, like, he's already living better than I ever will.
Yeah. RJ says I go to work and come home.
I should hope so. Well, when you get home, set up a microphone, RJ.
Yeah, God.
I remember a time when you used to make memes for us and other things.
Barely talk to me anymore. Just kidding.
Are you just kidding, or does he barely
He
talk
did
to
just
you?
text me today, right when we started recording.
Oh my God.
So I told him to
What a coincidence.
watch the stream. Because we've both started working out, so.
I
We're
work
like
out.
long distance support buddies.
Yeah, I've been lifting weights for a while. A single weight, and it's been getting heavier every day.
Yeah, a fucking 32-pound weight.
Butt plug. Speaking of, I am sore as shit from tossing his ass around.
I'm sure. But you look good doing it.
I woke up and I was like, oh my God, am I getting sick? I'm sore.
Am I dying?
I was like, oh my God, I got the Rona, my joints. And I remembered, oh wait, I've done exercise for the first time in 34 years.
Oh, and he started sewing too, RJ says.
My dead muscles came. Oh yeah, you started sewing.
Yeah. How's that dice bag coming?
Yeah, so RJ, you know, not for nothing, but we could do some craft swapping. If you can sew, I mean, I can knit.
It's true.
We could do some things. I've got these awesome plans to start production of harfs. Or yeah, I would call them the harfs.
Harfs. The Harlow Harfs.
The Harlow harf. It's a scarf and a hat in one. Now hear me out because it's the best idea ever. You wear it like a hat, but it's long. And then it goes around your neck like a scarf, so your head and your neck both warm with a single piece of apparel. It saves money. Probably. I don't know how much hats and scarves cost separately, but not as much as they are together, I bet. The only problem is it is a 2-year turnaround time.
So winter 2022,
Yeah,
you might get one.
It takes roughly 4,500 yards of yarn. And, you know, maybe not 2 years if I actually just sat down and did it all at one whack. Probably whack it. Probably bang it out in like, I don't know, 7 feet. It's like, I think I made it like 110 stitches around. Maybe a month I could bang one out.
Take you a month? Yeah, I was gonna say like a month.
But then you'd have to amputate my right middle finger.
Yep.
And hang it on the wall. Or people would constantly confuse it for a discarded piece of jerky. So
Oh,
RJ,
man.
if you're still there, and if you're listening, listener, viewer.
We got Vathis here too now.
What up, Vathis? You probably showed up to see the thing hanging on my mic stand, but it is out of frame, number one, and also too dark. But it is hanging there. The chainmail is in place, trust me. Anywho, RJ, what up with that sewing? You just out of the blue, you're just like, hey, time to sew, or was someone like, you should try sewing? Or were you like, I'm going to try sewing regardless of anyone's recommendation? I mean, there are so many options here, RJ. You're so quiet on the issue, and that's why I'm asking all these questions, because
It's a hot button issue over
not
here.
only is it a hot button issue, but it, you know, so hot of a button is it that the heat has gotten on me. And people are asking me, they're saying, well, what's up with this RJ situation and his sewing? And I say, you know what?
He says he'll probably start the bag tomorrow morning. He got the materials for the dice bag. I saw them on Instagram.
So what, materials as in cloth?
Yeah. To and maybe the thread, the right colored thread. I don't know. It looks kind of cool. His dice are like a purple color.
Question, are you... I would assume hand sewing is not what you are doing, but you have purchased...
He did both. He hand sewed his first pillow and sewing machine the second.
Whatever. Hand sewing is a bitch and a half.
Yeah.
And especially now, like... So when I was a kid and in junior high, I took home ec, but they called it... something PC, because we couldn't call it home economics. But anyway, moral of the story is...
Hey, Bruno.
Back in the old days, we had sewing machines that were little more than just dangerous, overpowered motors that could destroy you. And today, if you wanted to get a sewing machine, you could... Like, my aunt has a sewing machine that you could hook up to your phone. Like, you just throw you throw thread and material at it, you press a button on your phone, and before you know it, you're shitting a new pair of boxer shorts inside out. But, like, back in the day, I had to thread a bobbin.
I never used a sewing machine, but I
Crazy.
said the story before. When I was in 7th or 8th grade and took
What,
home ec,
the staples.
I had a pig. I was supposed to sew a pig pillow,
Oh.
and I sewed
Maybe
half
that's the
of
part
it.
I always forget. It's a pig pillow.
Yeah, it was a pink pig face, and I sewed half of it and then stapled the other half together because I was like, I can't do this.
You know,
Screw it.
here's how little they like. Speaking of home economics and all whatever they call it now, like I was right on that cusp because the name of the class had changed, so it was no longer home economics. It was, household sciences or whatever. It was basically cooking and sewing. But while they bent over backwards to change the name of the class to some bureaucratic, atonal, you know,
like a PC version.
PC version, we still had only projects that centered around women's clothing.
Yeah.
So I made a scrunchie. I could make a fun vest, like a lady's vest, not a man's vest. All the sewing stuff were all for ladies, and I'm like, well, so what can I do? And she's like, oh, you can make a pair of shorts. And I'm like, okay. She's like, just take the skirt pattern and add legs. I'm like, great. So I did. I missed those boxer shorts too. Holy shit, those are probably the best like night shorts I ever had.
Vatha says flying broken needles are a real danger, and then RJ says my girlfriend is good at making props for costumes but hates sewing, so I decided to learn so at least one of us can do it.
Supplementary, I get that.
Vatha says I took home ec in senior year and it was called Foods. Was working in a restaurant kitchen at the time, so it was an easy first period with free food. There you go.
Yeah, and that was part of it too. It was a nice kind of phone it in class because they couldn't give you a recipe or anything that took longer than, let's say, 20 minutes to cook.
Right.
Because you have 50 minutes. And so it's basically snack period.
Yeah.
Because every recipe we had literally started with opening a tube of some Pillsbury pastry. We made apple-based things and all these fruit-based desserts, and it was always like step one, open up the croissants, open up the biscuits, open them. Like, so...
Make an apple pie with crescent dough.
Yeah, it was so pathetic and sad.
We made, like, I remember making sugar cookies, but I think... Like, I feel like the dough was already prepared for us, and we just had to, like, put it in shapes and put it in the pan and put it in the oven.
Like, it's... Because you have to cover so many things. You have to say, okay, so here's the... In 50 minutes, you have to have the teacher gain control of the class, explain the thing, hand out the recipes, everybody has to cook it without burning it or fucking it up. And then after it's cooked, you have to eat it. It has to be graded, and then you have to like do all the dishes and everything. And to squeeze all that into 50 minutes, I think instead of calling that class like home economics, it should be like incredible time management, because you basically like destroy a kitchen with Pillsbury garbage and sugar and fruit, or you know, make a tiny pizza in a minute or two, and then you clean it all up and you fuck off. And because that's the thing, every time we would go into class, it was as if nothing had been cooked there before, even though we knew like people had been in there all day.
Yeah, RJ said we bake cookies a lot. Vathis says, wow, I mean, we actually bake things from scratch, so maybe your teacher was half-baked.
Kind of.
Probably.
She was sort of nutty, and not in like a pun way.
I don't remember. I feel like my home ec cooking whatever teacher was also our art teacher.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lot of these jobs come double duty because home ec was split into two chunks. The first semester was cooking, and the second semester was sewing and all that other shit.
Yeah.
And
he says maybe it was par baked for the course.
Oh God.
Awesome. I remember taking God, I can't remember what the actual name of the class was, but it was like metalwork, or
I took shop.
Maybe it was shop or something. I remember like using
it was like introduction to mechanical something or other. Whatever. It was. That's the stupid thing about it. It was like us as kids were like, it's shop, and everybody's like, no, we have to call it this now because home economics isn't home ec anymore. I hate this level. And you got to call it this, but it was still the same thing. We made CO2 racers. We did the you make your own toolbox with the spot welder and the crimper and everything.
Yeah, I vaguely remember
mousetrap
that
racer
class, but I want to say we did something where we had, you know, those things you can get now where they put a picture in like a clear like
an etching.
Yeah, it was kind of like
plastic. work?
No, it was like glass, but you put like a stencil or something in a machine, and it stencils out whatever onto the piece of material.
We did, like in my shop class, we did plastic work. Like we had the.
Maybe it was plastic. I don't remember.
And it seems so crazy and funny and old-timey now. It's like you could make like a name tag or whatever. So they give you a piece of plastic, and it was this arm that attached to like a pen that was just like a piece of plastic, and you would run the piece of plastic through letters in a basically like a cutout, like a stencil, and the arm would control the drill that would be pressing into the plastic. So I don't know, it just seems so crazy. Like, 'cause it was just a piece of, you'd line up. You couldn't have anything on your, whatever, your piece of plastic, whatever the fuck you wanted to call it, that was like drug related or like gang, or you couldn't say fuck or no sex or whatever. So like this one stoner kid, like he must have been like, oh man. I'm sure he didn't think of this and he was saving it because he wasn't a smart kid, but so his thing was like, I made like a Volkswagen one, and his thing was, I can't believe the fact that the teacher let him do this was mind-blowing also, because number one, it was insanely long because we were only allowed so much plastic. But whatever. All this hoopla aside, the thing he etched into plastic that the teacher was 100% okay and on board with because he watched the whole thing was, it's 419, do you have a minute? And I was like, it's the longest plaque ever, and why? And Mr. Howard L., my teacher, he's just like, all right, yep, that's definitely acceptable because it's not 420. And he went back to drinking his coffee.
That's crazy. RJ says.
RJ.
I took woodshop and a lot of computer courses. I took keyboarding.
Ugh, I tried computer and cannot type, so became
I
frustrated.
took keyboarding, which is why I can type without looking.
Well, like 9/10 of computer classes was like, especially in high school, is typing. Because what are you going to tell a high schooler? Like,
well, and the
class one was setting up an email address.
Right, like high school stuff, and it amazes me now looking back, and even now with the generation that are going into high school, the ones that go to like a school where they like learn to become a mechanic or whatever.
School.
Yeah, because like the kids nowadays too, especially, are so immature, and I'm sure when I was
Kids are
sophomore
always
in
immature.
high school, right? Like, how is it?
Like here, get out of this mindset. Everyone within the sound of my voice, get out of this mindset. Quit thinking kids are stupider than they were when you were a kid. Like, they're just as stupid. And they're actually, just kidding, they're smarter. Because if you give a kid now an intelligence test versus a kid, and this is obviously whatever, like emotional intelligence is not going to be related here, but like the average IQ of your average high school student has been going up. So that's the thing. Like every generation looks back and being like, are they dumber? But actually they're smarter. Like, we're smarter than our parents. They're smarter than their parents. But we as a species think that, for some reason, we're smarter than our parents, but the thing we crapped out is dumber than us. And we're like, damn
I'm
it.
not necessarily saying dumber.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
But, like, you think about, people slack off and stuff in classes, and then, they go to this vocational school instead, and they learn to be a mechanic, and they have a job. Like, they'll get a job right out of high school, as opposed to the people that go on to college or don't do anything and just
it's
get
a different path for a different type of person, because I am personally terrible at learning things like in the type of structure offered to me in a school. Like, I sucked. The only reason I got through school with any sort of good grades was that I'm a good test taker.
Oh, I'm a terrible test taker.
I can close my eyes, fall asleep, wake up, the test is done, and I got 100%. No problem. I don't know if I'm just good at remembering stuff, because I never studied. I never took notes.
Yeah.
But that's part of it too, is like there's natural aptitude, but then if you don't have the drive to learn or want to learn, then
I was always prone to, and I still am, like research papers, like essays, and like writing things. I mean, you know, when I was in high school, obviously Catcher in the Rye is like my jam. I wrote, and I worked at a doctor's office at the time. I made a whole patient chart for Holden Caulfield, and wrote, you know, how he was a bipolar, manic depressive kid, and like a whole like physical chart with reports and shit, and like looking at the DSM and all that crazy stuff in high school. And
where is it now? Exactly.
yeah, I mean,
saved a copy.
I feel like the teacher kept it, because I also like
I've had teachers ask to keep copies of things, but not like the thing itself.
I mean, I'm sure if they kept a copy of it, I'm sure it's my copy is long gone, obviously. But I don't know. It's weird.
Well,
I'm an awful test taker. I second guess all my answers, says RJ. Yeah, that's me too.
That's your problem. Like there's one thing that separates a good test taker from a bad test taker, and what that is maybe it's not caring, or maybe it's just like, because no, I mean it's definitely not caring. How do I want to describe it? Your mind knows what it's doing. So like if you can accept that your brain will deliver you information when you request it, then you're golden, because your brain knows.
Right, you just didn't doubt yourself.
Yeah. I say, here's the question, da 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 da. If I had to read it more than twice, I'd come back to it, and I would hope to forget it, and hopefully it would pop back.
Mm-hmm.
But you know the answer. You know the answer 10 times out of 10. But what you do is you say, oh, I know this. It's this. And then you go to the next question, but then you think, but it could be blah, 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 blah. And then you talk yourself out of the right answer. So
yeah,
that's the problem with...
Well, a lot of times, like, you go a few questions down, and then something reminds you of that other question, and you answer it, and you're like, wait, what if that was wrong?
That's the thing. Don't do that. It's harder, I realize it's harder done than said. However, like, you know in your head, like, because your head tells you, your head says, oh, here's the answer, and you go, oh, great, thanks, write it down. But then your head also is like, well, what if I was lying? But who are you trying to, like, convince that you sabotaged yourself? Like, is there a goblin in your head? Like, there's a mouse up there who's working the gears, and he just pulled the wrong string and the wrong thing got delivered? No, you know what you're fucking doing. Just admit it to yourself. Plus, I don't know why, like, because that just means you're going to spend more time taking that same test. I want to get at the fucking recess, man. Or lunch or whatever.
A guy in my high school who was like a forever senior. He was like 18 when I graduated.
We had some super seniors.
Or not when I graduated. When I started high school, he was a senior or junior or something. He was already 18. He was already held back twice or something. Yeah, super senior. But isn't it after they turn 18, like, they just kick you out?
Technically, I don't know. It depends on the school, because in some charter schools that you can stay till like you're 20 or something. Yeah.
Oh God. Just get a GED at that point.
Yeah, I mean, but that's you look at those kids and you think, well, obviously, if you're like, if you fuck up, the sensible decision would be to get a GED. However, obviously, this person is not making sensible decisions.
Yeah.
Like the kid at my high school who was a senior twice at the same school, and if I were like, you know, if I were stupid, like in that way, and I had to retake, like, you're only going to do it for a year, change schools, say, oh, my parents move around a lot, and try to cope with the embarrassment of all your friends graduating. But that would also be the thing, is like, when your friends don't see you at the walk, they'd be like,
Yeah, but like, if you're a super senior or whatever grade, whatever it is, the people come to terms with the fact that that's just the way you are.
Yeah,
and
but you don't want to be that, is what I'm saying. It's like, if you have, any self-awareness whatsoever, like, save at least a little fucking face.
Yeah.
Like, high school, it's you know why? You know how I know high school is easy? Because most people pass it. If it were hard, most people wouldn't, because most people aren't doctors, but most people can get a high school diploma. So if you can't even do that, like, fuck.
Yeah.
I fucking slacked off all of high school and was totally fine.
Well, and I didn't slack off, but my GPA was just average. Like, I wasn't anything, I worked hard to get the grades that I did, and yet my GPA was still just middle of the road.
Yeah, but then you were also self-sabotaging with all your tests, too, so...
Yeah.
But that's... It's irrelevant now, because...
Well, right. That's like...
Test taking is like the most ridiculous concept, because when in your adult life has someone like, oh, well, it's that time of the month, it's time to do a good old math test.
I don't have to do tests, but with my work, they do yearly competency tests.
But that's like training for a job, for a vocation. That makes sense. That's a skill you're going to need, and obviously because they want you to get refreshed on it.
Right.
No one's gonna, how many times is your company going to pay for someone to come in and be like, here's what algebra is,
right,
and here's why you need it? No, they're gonna tell you how to work their fucking system. They're gonna tell you how to operate their machine, and the rest of it is just busy work.
Yeah, and so today where I was working in an ER, I was watching a nurse, and he had this lady's potassium was crazy low, and she was on some other kind of inhibitor medication, and the doctor was like, hey, give her 2 milligrams of potassium, and he's doing all these calculations and these equations and all this crazy stuff, and he tells the doctor, he's like, so I just did the math, I just did all this shit, and if I give her 2, she's not going to get any of it. Whatever she's on will eat up the stuff she'd be taking. So it's crazy. It's crazy how nurses do that.
That's what doctors are. Doctors are regurgitators. All the doctors that I've ever known and the doctors that I work with to this day have no idea what health means. They know how to diagnose disease. They can identify illness and or injury. However, when it comes to taking care of their own health or their own health concerns, it's just whatever. Smoking is fun, and I like eating shit. So
the nurses are. Nurses also though don't take care of themselves either. But
my point is, don't listen to healthcare professionals when it comes to health advice, because they're fucking There's an old saying. It's the contractor's got the worst house on the block.
Yeah. In that kind of setting, nurses are definitely more of the
smokers.
Well, no, I'm just saying superhero wise or people that they're more conscious of decisions or diagnoses as opposed to the doctor. I feel like a lot of the times
a doctor, you get your ego fed, and a nurse, you're actually doing the work.
Yeah, these doctors literally, they kind of just sat in the ER and they dictated in their little voice things. They saw the patient for 4 seconds, but the nurses were back and forth, giving IVs, giving blood pressure meds, or blood sugar meds.
In this system, that's what we got, is we expect, but it's everybody's involvement that why that is, because the patients want to get in and out fast food style. The doctors don't give a legitimate fuck whether or not you're actually sick or whatever. They're just there to make a buck and diagnose.
And
so we have people going to a professional uninterested in the diagnosis they receive, and also the professional is uninterested in the diagnosis he is giving.
Well, and it's crazy. RJ says Dr. Dave recommends 1 episode of FFOP a week.
Taken anally.
But like sitting, like being in the ER as a patient and being in the ER on the back end, like being a worker in the ER, I mean, I understand why patients get frustrated and mad that it takes so long, but it takes so long because
People are idiots.
well, there's so many avenues to get to the thing that they want to give you. Like the doctor has to write an order, the pharmacy has to draw it up, then the nurse has to go.
Well, it's bureaucracy.
It's insane, and
But
like I get totally.
Any system that comes sufficiently complex like that, whatever. There's a bunch of interesting YouTube videos out there where I can't remember the channel, but essentially the idea is they explain everything like a game, like a board game, and they were explaining like how Dungeons and Dragons works and how the revised manuals, each time they release a new manual, it's basically the old manual is just streamlined and made better, and that's what games do because there's. That's the fucking smart thing to do. Whereas the government and whatever other system, whatever bureaucracy is in place, doesn't streamline. They just add more and more red tape, more regulations, more laws, more restrictions, more whatever. More codes are added, more codifications are added. Nothing is streamlined. And so like what we have is like a judicial system and a system of government, a system of bureaucracy and in corporations where the system is so big and all these checks and balances and all this stuff is there. But now it's simply just a thing that grinds up people and spits them out. Because the people working at the hospital, like the people working in the hospital, I'm sure feel like shit because it's constantly, a headache.
Well, yeah, and the
people stuff up their butts.
Yeah, and somebody came in right before I was done. A call came in from an ambulance saying, "Hey, we're bringing a patient in for SI, which is suicidal ideation or whatever." And so instead of anybody being like, "Oh boy," like the doctor was like, "Oh, we'll just get him in here. He'll get a psych eval and he'll just leave."
Yeah.
Like they don't give a shit about.
But you can't. You literally can't. If you gave a shit about everybody who came in there, you would never have any time to do literally anything else.
Yeah.
Like I understand the desire of the patient to be like, I want personalized care. However, when you're on your 40th patient of the hour.
Well, not only that, but like, wanting to go to the ER during a time of pandemic like this, you're an idiot. Like if you don't need to go to the ER, like the guy that came in that was on meth, he called an ambulance of his own volition because he thought he had an infection, and then he went to the ER and then left AMA within an hour. He didn't get anything. Nothing happened. He was just like, I'm leaving.
Oh, well, I mean, he got something. He got some people's valuable time and money.
Right.
Indirectly. But yeah, that's you can't stop stupidity. All you can do is try to capitalize off of it.
Yeah.
Like, stupid will always be there, but if you can take its money, then I don't see a reason not to. Like, again, with everything going on and the Rona and shit.
Did you see that was a Fiji water bottle?
It is a Fiji water bottle, along with the Arizona iced tea. But what was that? Oh yeah. So the things that'll bring in patients to where I work are fucking ridiculous. Like, this is a place where we are actively like testing kids, and there are people coming back positive for this disease that is ravaging. And people will walk up to the front door and be like, "My kid says his toe feels funny. Can you take a look at it?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, your idiot kid, like, you've got nothing better to do, so you come in with your Medicaid and you want to get your kid's funny toe looked at? Like, well, fine, I'll take your money."
Yeah.
Because whatever, it's got to go somewhere. Like,
I mean, I get going to an urgent care or your pediatrician if there's something going on with your kid. But right.
But 10 out of 10 patients where I work are not seen for medical things. They are seen for Like, I can't tell you how many, and I've told the front desk, I've told all the doctors, I tell everybody this. I said, if they have a dental issue, guess what we don't do?
Yeah.
We are not, this is not a dentist office. Yet last week, we saw 5 kids who were all like, my tooth hurts. And the front desk person was like, oh, really? Huh.
Let's get
All
you
right, well,
back.
let's get you into an appointment here. And
RJ says, back when I did security, 2 teens had no cash for a cab, and it was 2 in the morning, so they called an ambulance since they lived near the hospital.
ugh,
Wow.
fuck that. But then, like,
Yeah, then what?
yeah, like so then you go to the hospital. I want closure on this anecdote.
Yeah, did they actually get taken to the hospital or
'Cause,
taken home,
like,
essentially?
wouldn't somebody, once they got to the hospital, have a question?
Well, the
2.
paramedics taking them in an ambulance should have questions.
Yeah, like, I had an ambulance call me once, and I told them not to take me, and they wouldn't. So I'm sure they probably just, once they're called, you have to, like, I'm sure to cover your own ass, you have to pick up whoever is there.
Well, I don't know, because,
I told them to leave me the fuck alone, and they took me, so
well, you were having a legitimate medical issue, so
they didn't know that.
they could probably tell.
Plus, I think one of them pinched my butt.
Oh, could have sued him. This kid came in today with testicular pain.
Oh my god, I cannot tell you how many kids a month are seen where I work with just, like, chief complaint, penis pain, ball pain.
Well, and the thing is, they went to the pediatrician, who then told the mom, I want him to go to the ER to get an ultrasound. Why send him to a hospital, an ER, to get an ultrasound when he could just call Simon Med and be like, hey, I need a stat ultrasound on this kid's balls? Like, why send him to somewhere that's riddled with disease?
For the amount of times, whatever, it's stupid, especially all this ball pain. Like, I had ball pain as a kid. You get kicked in the balls, or,
Well-
RJ, you're a guy with balls. Tell me if you've ever had this. Do you ever get that? So whatever happens to me every once in a while is, like, you just get this stabbing pain at the base of your balls, and sometimes it just knocks you on your ass. And I had no idea. I feel like maybe it was just
It's
like
like a
cramping.
spasm? Yeah.
It might have just been like cramping because I was eating shitty and needed more minerals, I'm sure.
Oh, maybe.
Because I get the same semi feeling in my calves. However, it is a million times more palatable in the leg than in the dick.
Yeah. Well, like, so this kid got an ultrasound. They were like, the nurses went and they came back out and they're like, ooh. Like,
Ballroom.
they're like, yeah, you could tell why he's in pain. And I'm like, well, okay, sure, I'm sure.
Were
But they're
his
like, we don't know
nuts-
why. And the mom was like, well, he was riding his bike earlier. I'm like, so he probably fucking
Yeah,
fell off the seat and got
I can't tell you how many people or parents come in and they're like, yeah, the story is either my kid has this incredibly disgusting bloody injury and I have no idea how it happened, or it's like, hey, my kid gashed his head open 5 days ago and now the opening is green. Do you think we should look into it? It's I have to look at all these kids' records because I build their claims, and the amount of stories I read where it's like, oh, mom claims that kid fell onto a pile of rusty nails that were sticking out of old splintery hepatitis wood, and he rolled around in it, and now he's covered in puncture marks, and his eyes are yellow, and he's got a bunch of weeping sores, and he's got a bunch of buboes on his thyroid, and she just wants to get him checked out, and it's always like, it's symptoms presented 10, 11 days ago.
Yeah.
Meh.
RJ says they called the ambulance and one of them said they were having trouble breathing. The ambulance took them, but I'm not sure what happened afterwards. And then he told you I would get that looked at about your ball spasms.
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen anymore. Because I every time it happened, I would always be like, oh my God, I've got some sort of twisted testicle rope in there, something or whatever. But with the benefit of hindsight, I believe it was simply a mineral deficiency based cramping.
Could be.
Because obviously the juice is good. Ask Elliot. He's living
True.
juice.
Ugh.
Aren't we all, though?
Yeah.
Just a collection of living juices.
Gross.
Makes me want an Arizona iced tea.
Ugh.
Or a Windows 97. How many points have I got? Not bad. My highest is like 49,000. I'm at 14,000. I got some time.
Don't fuck up.
I think I'm in the DeLorean. I can't fuck up. And we're on peaceful. Looks
Are
like
you
he
sure you're not on
floats.
easy? Because peaceful there was
Oh no,
nothing.
easy. Yeah, sorry. It's a lot less assholes smashing into each other.
Yeah.
The nice pink clouds.
I think I might start an Instagram for my plants. Taking pictures of them.
Why?
I don't know. A lot of these people in my Plantaholics group created a Instagram account for their plants, and I'm like, oh.
But here's the thing. Are you doing it because you want to do it, or are you doing it because other people are doing it and you were like, oh, I should do it too?
I like having plants.
Yeah, but
I don't need an Instagram account, essentially.
Exactly.
Really, but I just think it's cute.
Enjoying people's Instagram accounts about their plants is whatever, but
Is that what you serve at your restaurant? Ew.
plants?
No, at your porn.
My porn restaurant, Living Juices. Well, I'm pretty sure you probably remember, RJ, that there is a fabled cookbook out there that I wrote. Krista probably doesn't even know about this, but in the early days of the show, I think, if I remember the title correctly, it is Dave's Book to Cook with Seaman.
I feel like I was around for that,
For references, but you weren't there for the OG.
No, not the original one.
Yeah, because they're the name of the book that actually started it was like Good Harvest or something. It was something stupid. And Andy found it and it was like, whatever. The easiest thing to make is a cookbook, number one, because recipes exist all over the internet. Number two, I can't imagine like an easier gimmick to do than just taking recipes and adding and then throw cum into it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they were making money hand over fist, if you catch my drift. Whoa.
I don't understand why you would want to eat that.
It's supposedly full of, and this makes sense because the living organisms inside of it would need, minerals and vitamins
Yeah,
and
I
nutrients
guess.
and protein and stuff. So, because it's not like each little sperm can pack a lunch, like they gotta be swimming in there.
They get a little doggy bag.
Yeah, they stop and eat like one of those little pale lunches from Return to Oz. Oh, ham and cheese sandwich.
RJ says Siemens sirloin steak was the best.
There are so many great recipes in that book. I'll have to find my copy. Get it back into print because people need it. It's been too long since we've discussed issues like this. I wouldn't mind like getting a weirdo in front of me, like a Wiccan or maybe not in front of me, obviously, but like an interview over the phone. Start interviewing some weird people. Now's the time.
I used to know the Wiccan alphabet.
You and every other 12-year-old girl who wanted to hide
Write
something from their
messages.
girlfriends or their parents.
I think I may know a Wiccan.
I don't necessarily want a Wiccan, just someone annoying and into something stupid.
Oh, we know plenty of people that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I can't.
You want something that's not a friend.
Yeah. No one's going to want to answer my questions. Okay, so I have $13,000.
Can get you nothing.
Well, I can get the Porsche.
Oh.
I'll try it. I'm sure I'm gonna hate it, but I gotta spend the money somehow. All right. Not bad. All right. Turned around on the Porsche. I love it.
I don't like this this course only because everything's so blurry.
Yeah.
It's fast.
I don't know how to turn off like the insane looking visuals, but it's just the way we live our lives. Ah! Yeah, it is hard to see. So maybe we'll pick an easier course. Yeah, this will be a classic. Tick 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 tick. Yeah. Excuse me, sir. Ah! Oh,
Jeez. He did not come out of nowhere.
no, that's the thing though. This car is insanely fast, and I'm bad at fast cars. I'm gonna put some time in, but at least aesthetically, this Porsche is making me want to come back to it. A little steering upgrade, but for right now, it's good enough. Oh, I didn't turn that off. And there's assholes like that who want to fucking get 9 cars deep. Anyway, anybody else got a story they want to tell in the typing square? RJ, what's up with that? Where are you working now?
I believe he's working in a warehouse.
Warehouse music? I thought they were all gone.
Huh?
Just like for your entertainment.
Oh man.
Alright, looks like this Porsche can fit through Reg's ass cars. Yep. Oh. But since it goes so fast, we've got difficulties.
Problems.
I got diarrhea. Here we go.
Oh my god. So this girl today when I was at work was like, I don't know, it must have been her first day at the hospital, and she just moved to Arizona from I don't know where, because I was just hearing it from a couple desks away, and this nurse was telling her all about the things in Arizona, and like he was telling her about scorpions.
I can't listen to people explain stuff to out-of-towners because it's so like stupid to me, and I always think like, oh, you know, you live here, you should know all this stuff, and people will still give I've been here 20 years, let me tell you about this, that, and the other thing. Like, you don't fucking know either, bitch.
And he was like telling about scorpions, and he was like, so there's scorpions out here, which I feel like it's something like I knew there were scorpions out here before I lived here.
Yeah, plus they're everywhere.
Well, I don't know about that, but she was like, or he was saying how, oh, they won't kill you, but they'll hurt a lot. And there's different places you can take your kid. And I'm like, well, a Google search could do that. Like, he's
Yeah,
like, oh,
like,
there's the zoo. Like, everywhere has a zoo.
Right, and maybe that's the thing, is like this conversation and this type of asshole used to need to exist before Google. But now, like, with the internet, and you can basically be like, oh, what's fun to do in my area? Like, look up,
Yeah.
you know, restaurants or whatever. Like,
He was the one wearing the mask on his forehead.
yeah, but maybe those guys need to be extinct, but there are so many still holding on, being like, oh, man. Yeah, sure, you could look up whatever on the internet, but since I am so smart and so good at knowing things, and I don't know. I don't give people recommendations because I know that they're, number one, not going to take them, and number two, I don't want them going to the places I like.
Well, and I feel like she was just trying to learn how to, like, do
Get along
work.
in the city. Oh.
Like doing her paperwork and stuff over like where she should have dinner. RJ says working at a warehouse lifting furniture.
Ooh.
So RJ's getting jacked lifting furniture.
See, every once in a while I toy with the idea of becoming a mover.
You'd be good at it.
If the money was there, like if I didn't have to take a decrease in, but that's the thing, I don't know how much a mover would make.
I think they make a decent amount of money.
Maybe.
I mean, when Mom moved, there were 3 dudes, and I think she paid like
$13,000.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
It was at least $1,000 that she paid.
It was $1,000?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
It's expensive to move. I mean, you have 3 dudes moving all of your shit for 8 hours. Well, they do it, you know, in a certain like time frame. Like you get 12 hours or whatever of
Yeah,
movers
I
for X amount of
guess.
money. Plus mileage maybe to where you're going.
But then you gotta think like, so there's a lot of costs going into that because you got gas, you got other things to cover. I am so angry at this car.
Well, you essentially have gas. I mean, and like the truck maintenance, I guess. But you're paying these dudes.
Right, but that's my point. Is like how much? Because if it's $1,000 for 3 dudes and a truck for 8 hours, and the company has to get a slice, and they got to pay taxes, and like, so how? My question is, how much is the end fuck getting?
I bet they make like $20 an hour. RJ says moving stuff in the warehouse with machines and moving stuff upstairs is 2 totally different things. True.
Yeah.
But I bet they get paid a good amount of money. Movers. I should just do a Google search.
Do we have any movers in the typing square? Please weigh in. Please send. Self-addressed stamped envelope 2. Da, da, da. I don't know.
Yeah, like between $17 and $20 an hour.
But then here's the thing. I would probably get jacked, but I would imagine, I don't want to pigeonhole people here, but I would imagine that movers are a similar, if not identical, class of people in regards, or rather in relation to like construction workers, because everybody who does physical manual labor, they usually don't do it because they're breathtaking wits and because they have a handle on substance abuse.
Yeah.
But movers might be different. I don't know. I feel like, what you call it, working in the trades definitely soured me on a lot of things. And
A lot of manual labor things.
yeah. And I don't want it to be that way, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the people that moved Mom, 2 of them out of the 3 were good. I mean, the one guy was still learning.
It's hard to, you know,
But
it's
you
whatever.
can't tell. You're only
That's the thing.
interacting with them for a couple hours.
Yeah, and not only that, like, it's, you know, whatever. I'm on a true crime, like, heavy rotation kick recently, and, you know, that's one of the things that always comes back is, like, you know, anyone could be a murderer, and you just deal with them, and they're just like, oh, I'll move your furniture. Da, da, da. You're like, oh, what a nice guy, and you shake their hand or whatever. You know, a guy watches your dog, or you got a neighbor, and then they're just murderers.
Yeah.
Not anyone.
RJ says, I do think it's funny that they play the same songs over the loudspeaker, and one of them is Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman. I think Shania Twain was the first concert I ever went to.
Warehouses do that, though. They'll get like one CD or one radio station,
Yeah.
and they'll latch onto it.
When Barb and I worked at Banner together in the same office, every morning we would listen to Toto of Africa every morning. and then the final countdown.
Yeah,
That
but
was
that's like
what
a
we did.
ritual. You're not doing that because you own one CD.
Yeah.
You're an unsophisticated warehouse owner. You're doing that to get pumped up.
Yeah. Pumped up to do spreadsheets.
Whatever. If I were going to do a boring ass thing like that, I'd need all the pumping up I could get.
I'll pump you up.
My fucking job is so boring. So, yeah. Music helps. And Toto is music, I suppose.
It is.
Ah, boy. I think I'm done. I think I've driven as much as I can for tonight. Guys, everyone, thank you for showing up. Flamingo Friday, forgot to say that. But whatever. Yeah, RJ, thanks. Vathis, if you're still out there, thanks for showing up. Bruno, of course. Forgot to talk about Bruno, but he didn't say a whole lot, so.
No, I think we were just on as background noise for him.
Yeah, that's fine. But we will catch you all next time. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. And if you like us, cool, thanks. Catch you next